Hey everyone, and welcome back. It is Puzzle Friday, so we are going to be continuing our playthrough of the Raven. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. What you did? Sorry, got a text message right as I started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going. I'm gonna step away for 2 seconds because. Hey, Neko. And Beast. Hey, Beast. Yeah. Get the game to get up and running here. I have to turn it down. It's super loud on my end. There we go, much better. Okay. Well, it's gonna be one of those games where. It's gonna be one of those games. Okay. Alright, so I'm playing the remastered today. It's still loud for me. No, better. Okay. I'm playing the remastered version instead because I was told that this was better. So I'm going to be playing this one. But Layla, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back to do something like real fast. Okay, sorry about that. We found a abandoned dog in our neighborhood and been trying to take care of it all afternoon, so some stuff came up with that. So okay, it's not gonna let me. I got. Oh, this is what I was afraid of. I do not want to play through the train again. Yeah. Hmm. Hold on. I legit don't want to. I don't want to play through the train again. Um, I'll have to play with that off stream. So let me see. Let me see what else we can do instead. Hmm. There's so many games. um. Beast. Oh, let me see what else we can play here because um that one's not gonna work tonight. So I was told after my last stream to play the remastered version, and the saves apparently don't save between games, so I'd have to start all over. I don't want to start all over. So, um, give me 1 second, and I'll just get the other one up and running when we get that. It was working. I just don't have a save file on the remastered version. I was playing on the original. No, it's okay, Beast. I should have thought of that beforehand, and I didn't. Ooh. I literally have so many games. I'm like, I'm not sure which one. If worst comes, if worst came to worst, I could just play Escape Simulator. Because there's a pirate theme on that one. Have to change this. Yeah, pirate theme. Been playing too much Sea of Thieves. So let me change this to that one. Sea trains. They're kind of like sea trains, I guess. They're just the engine. You would need a tugboat and then a ship behind it to have an actual train. Several tugboats. Ugh. But I guess while I'm waiting for this to fix, I think it's yeah, this is true. I guess you could think that way. Anything on a track, I guess. 'Cause that's the main thing about trains is they're on a track, right? So if it's on a track, it could be a train. So like monorails and um, what were those? They were a streetcar, sort of, so to speak, but they were on a track and they had like they usually had like a cable or something that they would cable car. I think that's what they're called. Those are usually on a track too, but they'd be on like a street. Let me while we're waiting. Go ahead. Just while we're waiting. Just so there's something. Trams, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's those are like a street train. No, oh my. So you got those are like street trains. And then you got actual trains, monorails. There's a lot of different types of trains, I guess. So once I got this up and running, where we left off was we almost got trapped on the train. Someone sabotaged the train to try and kill all of us, and didn't work. So we managed to get off, and now we're at a cruise. So what? I don't think I've heard of that. Can't say I've heard of that one. But we're trying to get on a cruise that has the other gem. And we're gonna have to be sneaky because we're not being allowed on this ship. Almost done. Oh! Oh, okay, that's cool. I guess I just never heard of the official term for them. I know what those are. I've seen them. I think we used to have some. It's pretty cool. You could almost think of like a roller coaster like one too, because those are on a track. They're an entertainment train. allowed to break them. No, not allowed. Okay, we're gonna stop the music and we are going to get this up and running. This is how I know this particular one's old because it's got like an intro. Why are you so loud? Oh my gosh. Doesn't matter how many times I turn it down, it is so loud. Previously on the Raven. Yeah. Previously. Okay, it's just gonna be. It's going to be a stinker. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, so he doesn't want to interact with that.
I'll be marching up this gangway today, no matter what. Someone has to stop that damn bomber before he endangers more people.
Yeah.
Amazing how much luggage there is for so few passengers. And I guess that 3/4 of it belongs to the women. Fine car, but nothing compared to the young lady who owns it. I'll take an inconspicuous look up close.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting anyone to be crawling around on the ground in front of my door.
Don't worry about it, miss. No harm done.
That's good to hear, Mr.
Zellner. Anton Jakob Zellner.
It was like, she's really tall and then you look at her heels.
May I ask your name?
Patricia Mayers.
Are you American?
I am. Could you help me, please?
Certainly. Are you on your way to Egypt?
Yes.
Are you on holiday?
My father works for a railroad company there.
And is rebuilding the country after the war. Wonderful.
Yes. Wonderful.
You don't sound excited to be going.
One more.
You're lucky to have a father who takes you to so many interesting places.
Oh, yes. Lucky me.
Aren't you interested in Egypt? The pyramids, the history.
I would have been more interested in a father who doesn't travel 300 days a year.
I'm sure your father regrets that he can't always be with you.
No doubt. And I'm sure he always wanted the best for me. But that doesn't stop him from thinking only about himself far too often. Bring my luggage on board, please.
Excuse me?
It was a pleasure meeting you, Constable Zellner.
Impertinent.
That's your way on board, sir.
Constable Oliver seems to be a little simplistic. But I don't think he's a bad policeman. The way he reacted in the tunnel and got the train moving. Hats off. Hello, Constable Olivier.
It's Oliver.
I just wanted to say that you did a good job in the tunnel.
Thanks.
How did you know how to get the train moving?
I come from a family of miners, and my uncle is an engine driver down the mine.
I see. And you looked over his shoulder.
Yeah, best way to learn.
Did Legrand tell you about his theory? That it could be the real Raven?
Of
Hello,
course he did.
Aegis.
We're partners.
But the modus operandi doesn't fit at all. The Raven wasn't a bomber.
We have the letter. And the feather. That's his symbol.
Anyone can put a feather in an envelope.
You would know.
What's that supposed to mean?
It was you.
What was me?
You put the envelope on the safe.
To blow myself up?
You threw the bomb away, and now you're the famous hero, right? And the Raven must have paid you pretty well.
That is ridiculous.
Is it? Only you and I and Legrand were in the freight car. One of us must have put the envelope on the safe. Legrand didn't. And I didn't. Think about it.
He was supposed to be guarding it and he walked away from it. Not very smart.
Is the doctor afraid to board the ship?
Not much, Aegis. We're playing the game's called The Raven Legacy of a Master Thief. Started it last Friday. We're continuing where we left off.
Hello, Dr. Gebhardt.
The Miss Lydia.
The hero of the hour.
The hero of the hour, but out of work soon.
Oh, you won't be a policeman anymore?
Yes, but on my old beat, which is almost as good as being out of work.
I understand.
Is your new job bothering you?
On the contrary, I wasn't sure whether I made the right decision until now. I'm from the Black Forest, you know. There are only mountains there, no ships. But now, the salty breeze, the atmosphere, I think I want to stay at sea forever.
Oh no.
The sea is one thing, the passengers are another.
It will be okay.
What do you know about the Baroness?
Nothing really.
Did you talk to her in the tunnel?
No, her butler was looking after her, and I was busy with Miss Miller. As you can imagine, it was a shock for her to see her son rolling away on a burning train.
That's understandable.
So, we were all glad when we heard about your brave deed.
Ah, yes. Like I said, my last stream kind of glitched, so I don't know how much was missed. But yeah, we, the train was sabotaged, caught on fire, we got trapped in the tunnel, and, just as we get the train free, the little kid that was on the train was still on the train, and we had to jump back on the train, get him off before danger.
Have you already met the captain?
Mario Di Conti. Heard of him?
Should I have?
He is something of a star in Italy. A war hero. In the First World War, when he was a young man, he sank more enemy ships than anyone else. In the Second World War, well, he had some personal problems.
You mean like the ones you buy in bottles and pillboxes?
Yeah, you could say that. Anyway, sending him into combat was out of the question. They gave him a supply ship instead, and he became a hero again. His ship, part of a convoy from Palermo to North Africa, was the only one that made it, with an extra 100 seamen who he rescued from the other ships.
Impressive.
To say his health is rather shaky these days would be an understatement. I think most of my time on board will be spent dealing with his numerous ailments.
Well, there's nothing left for me to do but to wish you a good trip.
Oh, you are not coming with us?
Unfortunately, no. I'm to go back to Zurich.
What a pity.
Take care, Dr. Gebhardt. At least there'll be music.
Oh, I just remembered. We found these in the tunnel. Are they yours?
I'm afraid so.
Strophantine, do you have heart problems? Maybe it's for the best that you're not coming along. Too much excitement could be bad for your health.
You mean if I don't do anything, I'll probably have a few more years to live?
That's right. Keep your chin up.
He's like, nah.
James? James! Where on earth are you?
Hello, Baroness.
Ah, Inspector.
Constable.
Poppycock. You won't be a constable much longer. When they find out how you rescued that little boy, they'll have to promote you to Inspector.
Very kind of you to say so, Baroness. I hope you survived the adventure in the tunnel unharmed.
Scandalous. You book a first-class cabin, and then you're walking on the rails. Huh. They wanted to bundle me off in a bus without my luggage.
The circumstances, madam.
I insisted on a limousine and didn't leave until all my luggage was recovered.
Did you know that the real Eye of the Sphinx wasn't even on the train?
I had no idea. Inspector Legrand seems to prefer to keep me in the dark, although I'm the one paying for all of this.
The inspector is ensuring the safety of the Eye.
Well, obviously. All the same, it was you who did the real work on the train.
I hope that the remainder of your trip to Cairo will be less stressful.
You aren't coming with us?
I'm afraid Inspector Legrand doesn't want my company.
Well, that's a pity. In my opinion, another policeman guarding the Eye certainly wouldn't hurt. On the other hand, you didn't manage to return my purse. But no offense. Now, where's my damned butler? James, there you are. Is the inspector to carry my luggage onto the ship all by himself?
Well, actually... Baroness?
Baroness, can you hear me?
Oh my.
She fainted.
No. No.
Baroness?
Again, harder.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Slapped her.
Help me up.
Perhaps we should...
Now.
I'll get Dr. Gebhardt.
No, doctor. Just a little moment of weakness. Your arm, James. Take me to the ship.
But of course,
That was no
I'm
moment
sorry.
of weakness.
They just
She saw something that shocked her. Or someone. Very interesting. Especially since she doesn't want to admit it.
Oh,
Who or what did she see?
I'm sorry. That was just slaps her harder. Oh my gosh.
Neither of them seems to have noticed what happened down here. You'll have a tough time with her. How does one get aboard without a ticket? Not brilliant, but it's a possibility.
Sorry, that was just funny to me.
The sea is quiet today. Ideal conditions for a cruise. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to see the sights in Venice. Paperwork served up by my Italian colleagues took up most of the day.
Oh, who do we have here? Signore...
This is Constable Anton Zellner.
Signori Zellner. I heard about your feats in the mountains. Welcome aboard the MS Lydia.
Thank you, Captain.
I didn't know you'd be taking part in the journey, but I'm glad to have you with us. I'll have a nice cabin prepared for you immediately.
The constable will not be joining us. He has other duties.
Oh, that's too bad. I would have loved to hear about his adventures from the man himself.
I'd like to accept your offer, but unfortunately, higher powers prevent it.
I am sorry to hear that. We are by no means full, and have plenty of room for one more passenger.
The constable just wants to have a quick look around and then leave before we set sail. When will that be?
In about 15 minutes.
There you have it, Constable.
May I ask how to get to the cargo hold?
Oh, signori, there are much nicer places on board.
But I'm interested in the cargo hold.
Why is that?
One of the trunks seems suspicious to me. Someone could be hidden in it.
You? You want to imply that the most brilliant and probably richest thief in all of Europe is stowing away in a trunk? That's not his style.
That's what makes it more likely that it's not him, but a copycat who's behind all this. And a copycat's style might include doing whatever it takes, like hiding in a trunk if they've lost the ticket.
Oh, come now.
Actually, it would be possible for a registered passenger to board the ship without a ticket.
What do you mean?
You can't buy a ticket for the Lydia at the counter. You book the trip in advance. We know the names of all the passengers. As long as a passenger is on the guest list, we let them board the ship. Doesn't matter if they have a ticket or not.
And did any of the passengers board without a ticket?
I couldn't say. We ask for a name and check it on the list. The tickets are no more than souvenirs for the passengers.
So much for your trunk theory.
Regardless of what you say, I would still like to examine the cargo hold.
All right then, if you like. But we'll meet here again in 10 minutes. Captain De Conti, before we depart, I'd like to send 2 telegrams.
Certainly, Inspector. The cargo hold is over there. You can enter through a door on the forecastle. The horn will sound twice, 5 minutes before we set off. That's the signal for all the dock workers to leave the ship.
Understood, Captain.
Follow me to the bridge. You can send your telegrams from there.
Oh, this game.
My time is running out. If I don't find anything in the cargo hold, my cruise will be over before it even begins. Oh, no. Oh, what's this? Aha. That's the young woman's cabriolet. Apparently, they absolutely had to take it to Egypt, at Daddy's expense, of course. The door to this locker is ajar. Empty. The left 3 lockers are locked.
Can I get
Hello? Come on out. The game's up. I'm opening the trunk. Hello? The shards are... Phew. I startled too easily.
Oh. Yep. Okay, that's not gonna work. Very fascinating.
Ouch! Damned. Ah!
Ooh, yeah, I bet that hurt.
It would be best if no one found out about this. There's some blood and hair stuck to the pipe. Hair I really can't afford to lose. I'll hold it on the blood-spattered end. After all, we already know who the victim is.
Yeah, very painful.
I can make out a corridor, but no details. The glass is too dirty, and there's no light in there. It's no use. The door seems to be locked from the other side. A detention cell for crew members? Or maybe for rowdy passengers? The cargo hold seems to be used as a changing room for the crew as well. Or at
Ooh.
least the part of the crew that doesn't do their work in white suits. Whoever locked the door is stronger than me. Whoever locked the door is stronger than me.
Okay, we're trying. Let's see.
I should be careful. The gunman may still be nearby.
What are you up to, Zelna?
I was jumped in the cargo hold.
Of course you were.
Here, look. Careful how you hold it. There could be fingerprints on the end.
Surely you don't expect me to believe you.
I was inspecting the trunk. I found it in the cargo hold, and it was clear that someone had hidden inside it to board the ship.
Some people are willing to go to great lengths to be a part of this journey.
Indeed. Whoever it was, they struck me on the head from behind with the pipe while I was looking for clues. Oh, and they shot at me as well.
Ridiculous. You wanted to come along, orders be damned, and so you found a way to stay here. I should throw you overboard.
I would have dreamed up something less painful.
True. That doesn't look good.
Show's
See?
head.
And there's a bullet wedged in a wooden crate down there. I don't have a gun.
The doctor should have a look at it. Come with me.
Inspector Legrand and Constable Zelna. So you have decided to join us on our journey after all?
So it would seem. We are searching for Dr. Gebhardt.
I'm just fine, Captain Conti.
The Conti.
I'm in control. I can manage. Tell
Someone's drunk.
James he absolutely must wake me at 9:45.
Certainly, madam.
Absolutely.
I shall see that he does.
And now, I shall return to my chambers. You'll be in the bar tonight at 10, Inspector.
If that's what you wish.
It will be spectacular. I promise.
Oh no. Horribly drunk.
The fresh sea air, and perhaps a glass of champagne to many. But I'm glad that you decided to join us on our journey to Cairo.
Not quite voluntarily.
So he says.
I was jumped from behind.
But no, that is...
Dr. Gephardt should have a look at him, Captain De Conti.
Of course. Please, have a seat in the saloon, Constable Zelna. I'll summon the doctor. Ah, doctor, there you are. Our brave Constable Zelna was attacked.
Struck on the head.
Oh. Sit down, please.
Now, please, tell me exactly what happened.
I think you've got a stowaway on board. I was jumped.
Intolerable. I'll have the crew search every nook and cranny of the ship. And of course, Mr. Zelna, you are cordially invited to travel as our special guest.
Well,
Good
that's
to
nice of
know
him.
that at least one man doesn't want to throw me overboard.
Is it bad?
Yes, it hurts a lot.
I spoke with Dr. Gebhardt.
He suffered a violent blow to the back of the head. I cannot really say how bad it is.
But I can. It really hurts. Why didn't anyone come looking for me? Didn't anyone notice that I didn't come back from the cargo hold?
We did search for you, but we couldn't find you.
Who was supposed to search the cargo hold?
Constable Oliver. I'll have a talk with him about that later.
I should hope so.
How many fingers do you see?
What fingers?
3 fingers.
Okay.
Where are we? And what time is it? I must have been out for ages.
It's just after 8 p.m.
You just missed dinner. But we'll all meet here in the saloon at 10 o'clock to have a drink together. Greeting the passengers personally is a
Hey,
tradition
Zio.
I will not break, even on this unusual journey.
You're all right now, Constable. The bleeding has stopped and the wound looks good. You may have a mild concussion. You just need a good night's sleep. And tomorrow, your only worries will be a headache and an impressive bump.
I'm sorry to hear that. I've also been suffering with a headache the past 2 days, so I
Thanks.
feel that.
That's a good enough reason to celebrate.
I hope it goes away
Enough
soon.
about crooks and thieves. From now on, you can start to enjoy your free cruise.
Inspector! What? A dark shadow. Upper deck, just now. Go, let's have a look.
I'll join you.
Me too.
No, you stay here.
Do you want to make this an argument?
Robert, go to the Baroness and don't let her out of your sight. Zellner, you're coming to the port side. Doctor, you go to starboard. I'll start at the forecastle and work my way back to the 2 of you. Understood?
But
Baroness von Trebitz! Hello? Baroness von Trebitz? Open the door!
Okay. I was gonna say something, and now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, what was I gonna say?
Dr. Gebhardt insisted on coming along, but now he doesn't seem to be sure if that was a good idea. Are you okay, Doctor?
oh, of course. Why wouldn't I be? It's just that, well, I would prefer to come with you.
You You heard the inspector. The Baroness was 3 sheets to the wind. It may be a while before she comes to the door. All right, Doc. I'm off.
Oh no, I'm not going on a manhunt all by myself. Are you okay? Maybe you had better take a rest, in case the blow was more severe.
I'm okay.
Zellner, up here!
Come on. I think it came from up there.
Sure, you just wanted to get a breath of fresh air. Zellner, look who we have here.
Well, if that's not our shadow.
And our stowaway.
Spent any time hiding in a trunk recently?
Me do nothing.
He claims to be part of the crew. Just wanted to get some fresh air.
Of course.
The Baroness won't open the door, sir. Understood. Take him to the detention cell, Robert.
That little tiny the gun almost looks like a Beretta. It's so small.
You were right. There was a stowaway.
Yes, but he can't be the Raven. He's too young.
Right, but that doesn't mean that the Raven isn't lurking here as well.
What was that?
A shot!
It came from one of the cabins.
Oh no! Baroness von Trebitz? Baroness! Open the door!
Step aside, please.
We have a murder on our hands, gentlemen. Hurry, Zellner. The murderer still has to be nearby.
Oh my. It's turned into a
There's
murder mystery.
practically no one on deck. Anyone who's outside is a suspect. This time, we'll get him. Zellner, are you okay?
Yes. Come on. We have to.
Zellner? Zellner! Merde!
Perfect recipe for a well, I forget what they're called, but they're those murder mysteries where
Sleep well, did you?
the murderer has to stay on board, basically.
I didn't fall asleep voluntarily.
It doesn't matter. We got along just fine without you.
Jeez.
What's the state of play? How was the Baroness killed?
The Baroness was shot in the chest at close range. We'll know more once the doc finishes examining the body in the medical centre.
And no one saw anything suspicious.
No one saw a shadowy raven leaving the Baroness's cabin, if that's what you mean. A lot of people heard the gunshot. Inspector Legrand wants to question the passengers again this morning, once they've all calmed down, and he's had a chance to examine the evidence.
I didn't pass out last night because of the blow to my head, did I?
Seems unlikely. Inspector Legrand thinks you were drugged.
But how? The champagne.
Who gave you the glass of champagne?
Captain DeConti.
Interesting.
It should be possible to find traces of the tranquilizer in the glass.
That is exactly what Legrand is trying
Yes,
to do.
there you go.
Without
Lockship
a
murder
laboratory?
mystery.
Oh, he's got a lab. His cabin is packed with all the latest forensic stuff. It's quite impressive what the inspector can do.
A competent man, no doubt, and surprisingly well prepared.
And diligent. He's been at it all night with his brushes and tinctures and glasses and everything, working like a man possessed. I wouldn't want to be the Raven now.
Have you arrested anyone yet?
You mean besides the Arab?
He could hardly have committed the murder. You must have been with him when it happened.
We heard the shot on the forecastle. I locked our friend in the detention cell in the cargo hold and then went up to assist Legrand. You were already sleeping the sleep of the just.
That's what I was trying to say earlier, and it escaped my mind. Is that word forecastle, like the way they're pronouncing it, like forecastle or how are they saying it, is really neat.
Any other suspects?
No. Seconds after the alarm went off, the decks were swarming with frightened passengers.
Yes. A clever way to stay incognito during the commotion.
But we still have our primary suspect, the Raven.
You really think he's returned?
Well, I think that no one knows as much about the Raven as Legrand.
But still, it all seems so incredible.
Yeah, so like I said, like how I would say is forecastle, but they're like saying they're either saying it really fast or it's the accent or something when they say it that it sounds like a completely different word.
I suppose that you and Legrand inspected the crime scene and the surroundings.
Of course. And we already hit the jackpot. The murder weapon.
Really? Where did you find it?
On the gangway. The gangway for boarding the ship folds up and hooks onto the hull when it's not being used. The murderer probably wanted to throw the gun into the sea. He casually dropped it overboard.
But it landed on the gangway.
Bad luck.
But Legrand and I were on the side deck right after the shot. There was no one there.
Maybe the murderer threw the gun away later. We recovered it in the early hours.
I think I'll look for Inspector Legrand now.
Do what you think's best.
You won't get rid of me. I'm here to stay, Constable Oliver.
Be that as it may, Inspector Legrand ordered me to guard the cargo hold with our special guest. That's fine by me. Inspector Legrand may be able to get by without sleep for days on end, but not me. It's not easy playing with the big boys, Constable Zellner.
No, it certainly isn't.
Okay. We don't want to leave. Not yet. There we go. For a cruise ship, like I guess cruise ships are different back then than they are now. When I think cruise ship, I'm thinking like tons of people.
I'd really like to lie in the sun and take a nap, but I don't have time for that at the moment. Big, soft towels. I could reserve a deck chair with it. No,
You're correct,
better
Beast.
not.
Oliver is British, and Legrand is from Paris. So, like I said, it's probably legit just their accents coming out when they say it, but like I guess it's just me because I'm American. So forecastle, that's how I would say it. So yeah, so Oliver's British, Legrand is French, I just forgot his name, but the doctor is German. And then we've got an Italian captain on board. And then the character we're playing is Swiss.
I suppose the life jackets are stowed there, close to the railing, close at hand in case of emergency. It may not seem like it, but Constable Oliver is actually a very effective watchman. Constable Oliver brought something to drink. You can tell it's not the first time he's had to guard something. The bottle should be full of water, unless the good constable happens to have a secret alcohol problem. No way to verify that. I can't get the bottle without him noticing.
That's fair.
I wonder if this game is an advanced version of bocce.
I don't even know what that is.
Salty sea air in my old lungs, wind in my thinning hair. If I hadn't become a policeman, I could have been a sailor.
We're gonna pester him again, I guess.
What's going on?
The Raven just flew by.
What?
Or at least, he might as well have.
I wasn't asleep.
I understand. It was just a ruse. Any conclusions about a young stowaway?
Yeah, he's a bit suspicious. Foreign and whatnot.
I see. Did he act suspiciously in any way?
No. The shot surprised him as much as it did me. Looked in on him earlier. Still seems to be asleep.
Covered with a blanket from head to toe?
Aha. He's still in there. I poked him.
I poked him.
May I go downstairs and have a couple of words with our guest?
No, you may not.
Come again?
Inspector Legrand wants to conduct all the interrogations himself.
I'm sure he'll understand if I form my own conclusions.
He ordered me to guard the door, and that's just what I'm gonna do.
How about a bit of individual initiative?
How about letting a man do his job? Or do you think you'd be better at it?
What do you think? What happened here last night?
The Raven broke into the Baroness's cabin, she surprised him, and he shot her.
What was he looking for in her cabin?
She was a rich woman.
Why did he lock the door?
Why not?
From inside? An impressive trick.
I'm not saying I know how he did it. I'm just saying that it was him.
Why didn't he leave a raven feather?
Are you serious? We'd have suspected him straight away.
But fortunately, we still did.
We still did.
Let's assume that the old raven really has returned and that he really is responsible for all this. Who is he? Or she?
Oh, could be anyone. No one's ever seen the Raven.
He could also be paying someone else to do his dirty work.
Well, of course. It's a fact that he used to work with partners. They even arrested some of his accomplices.
But no one could ever identify the Raven himself. Some claims that they didn't even know that they were working for him. Fascinating. He could have hired someone with financial difficulties to set off the alarm at a certain time without that person knowing why they were doing it.
The man Legrand shot back then, he was a famous safecracker. He could just as well have been a henchman.
Or the real Raven. There's probably no better cover for a big thief than acting like a small one. I don't want to keep you from your duties any longer.
Good idea.
Oh dear. I can go upstairs. Where does the butler rest?
We were here yesterday when we heard the shot, and it was also here where Legrand caught our stowaway.
Yeah, the butler is pretty suspicious. We haven't seen him.
The grate must be part of the ship's ventilation system. Nothing out of the ordinary. Why is there an axe hanging here? I suppose it's for chopping through ropes in the event that the lifeboats can't be lowered. Or they use it to enforce who's allowed on the boat and who's not. The ship's bridge. 2 men. One of them navigating. I get the impression that the officers keep things running.
He could have, yeah.
It seems like the captain concentrates on the passengers and the bar. I better let the men do their work. If one of them had detected something yesterday, he'd already have informed Legrand or the captain. A boat like this would also make a good hideout for a stowaway. Were the tarpaulins arranged like that on purpose so that no one could put them back in order once they get in? You can tell at a glance that everything is ship-shape with this boat. The grate shouldn't be so easy to open. Did the stowaway open it and we caught him in the act? No. The pipe is too narrow. He wouldn't fit in there. I guess the cover has been defective for a while. I could inform the captain that the grid has to be repaired, but if I start reporting all the problems on the ship, I'd have to shelve my murder investigation.
There's so much wrong with this ship.
This isn't a panoramic deck for visitors. There are pipes, steel cables, chains up here. You can smell the smoke from the funnel. I have no idea how the ship works, and I really don't care, as long as it stays afloat.
It's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. I don't care how it works as long as it stays working.
Curious. One can easily toss a gun into the sea from almost anywhere on the ship without being noticed. And yet, the murderer chose the one spot where it's not actually possible.
I know. That was pretty funny. I think it'd be pretty funny. Let's go downstairs. Oddly enough, we haven't run into anything. We need to pick up yet.
An evacuation plan? And some tips from the doctor for avoiding seasickness, sunburn, and the like? And here, a schedule of activities.
Schedule.
A drink with the captain.
Schedule.
A shuffleboard competition on the forecastle. That's about it. A real barrel of fun.
Yeah, even he said it interestingly with his accent. Forksole, I think is how he said it.
A model of the Lydia before it was rebuilt. It used to be a freighter. The wide hallways, the cabins, and the saloon were added later.
Forksole. That's a neat way to say that word.
Come in.
Hello, Dr. Gebhardt.
And there's the next one.
Excuse me?
You want something else from me, don't you?
I'm afraid I do.
What a first day at work. Well,
I am told that I was drugged.
that's how it seems.
What can you tell me about it?
Me? Why should that be my business?
Haven't you analyzed the glass?
No, I haven't. The inspector said he's the better chemist. I let him do it. That way I could at least concentrate on the body.
Do you think the Baroness might have been drugged? She was very tired and unsteady when Legrand and I saw her.
Yeah, I heard about that. I must have just missed her in the saloon. And without having seen her myself, it is hard to make a diagnosis.
Of course. Can you say something about her general health?
She was quite overweight, and the butler said that she suffered from diabetes. Despite that, she hadn't visited a doctor for several years.
Doesn't sound good.
Happens more frequently than you might suppose. Some people are scared of doctors and pay with an early death. It is possible that the Baroness wouldn't have lived much longer anyway.
What's the result of your examination of the victim?
She is dead.
I didn't make you work all night long, Dr. Gebhardt.
She was shot. Point-blank shot. Probably with a pistol. It seems like she was lying in bed. The shot struck her hard. She died immediately.
One shot?
More were unnecessary. And we only heard one shot, no?
And there's just one entrance wound.
Just one.
Do you know whose glass I drank
Interesting.
from?
The plot thickens.
What do you mean?
Captain de Conti handed me a glass of champagne. But where did he get it?
I don't know. Did you ask him?
I'm just asking because you were also in the saloon when the champagne was served.
Yes, but I only entered the saloon a few seconds before you did. I didn't manage to get a drink myself.
Which, in retrospect, is lucky.
Ah, you're right about that.
Have you already removed the bullet?
Did Legrand send you? What is that Frenchman's problem?
I was right. He is French.
I already told you. I will get in touch as soon as I have it. That is also what I told the constable, who he kept sending all night long, once I finally got rid of Legrand himself.
Did he look over your shoulder?
He probably wanted to take the scalpel from my hand and hack away himself. But this is my surgery, and I will not let amateurs interfere with my work.
That's understandable. How much longer will it take?
Oh, I have just finished. Send my regards to His Majesty.
Thanks. I think that's it for now.
No. That is it for now, then, and later. I am going to lie down for a few hours. Can you tell that to your boss?
But
Oh, okay.
could I at least have the key?
Absolutely not.
But if we have to examine the victim again...
Then the esteemed inspector knows where to find me. In my cabin. In bed. Good night, Constable Zellner.
I'd be upset too if I was kept up all night. Constantly being pestered.
That is Legrand's cabin.
Come in.
I like him too.
Ah, Zellner. Are you ready?
Good morning, Inspector Legrand. My head is pounding, but I think I'm okay.
Chloral hydrate.
Hmm?
That's why you have a headache. I found traces of it in your champagne glass.
What have you found out so far?
The Baroness was shot in the chest at close range. We heard the shot. The murderer quickly fled the cabin and dropped the murder weapon over the railing later. A simple story so far.
But why was her cabin door locked?
Exactly. If the murderer wanted to make it seem like a suicide, he'd have shot her in the head and left the gun at the crime scene.
And if it was murder, why did he go to all the trouble of locking the door from inside? And how did he manage that anyway?
Especially since we arrived just a few seconds later and didn't see anyone near the cabin.
Something doesn't make sense here.
No, it doesn't, and it's driving me crazy.
Where is the inspector's gun? It's not in his holster?
Did you find the murder weapon?
On the gangway on the side
Oh,
of
no,
the
it's not.
ship. I suspect the murderer tried to drop it into the sea. He would have stood close to the railing to let it fall unseen.
And since he doesn't know the ship, he had bad luck and dropped it right onto the gangway.
Indeed. And do you find that probable?
Not a bit.
Neither do I.
What kind of a gun is it?
A pistol, a Luger '08.
Antique.
Manufactured 1,000,000 times during and after the First World War. Austrian model. The owner is David Kreutzer, the violinist. We found him tonight totally drunk on the bow of the ship. He confirmed that it's his gun, but he claims that it was stolen from him.
Fingerprints?
Nothing. But it's worth mentioning that the clip was missing 2 bullets.
And it's definitely the murder weapon.
The ballistic tests are incomplete. Actually, I've been waiting far too long for the bullet recovered from the corpse. Pay the good doctor a visit, Zellner, and see that he does his job.
About the bullet. Here it is.
Excellent. Give it to me. As I suspected, a 7.65 Parabellum Luger.
Why would he need a gun?
Don't you want to examine it in more detail?
When I have time. For now, though, we can assume that we had the murder weapon. There can't be too many antique Luger '08 pistols on board.
May I take a look at the Baroness's cabin?
We already searched it thoroughly.
Sure. But what about now, by daylight?
Yes, fine, it can't hurt. Here, take this with you.
Thanks. I'll let you know if I find anything important.
But only then, please. I'm very busy.
Of course.
Okay, pausing him for a second. Why did he have a gun? So I started playing this game several years ago, and I never got past this part. So I did play through the ship a little bit, but I don't remember finishing it. And if I remember correctly, the violinist had the gun mostly to protect himself. I think he's on the run. He's not a thief or anything, but he's on the run. But I can't remember why.
Do you believe the violinist?
He'll be
That's
the
if my
first
memory
person
serves
I
me.
question. He claims he can't remember anything from the last few hours. Says he drank a bottle of schnapps.
He was on the train and he doesn't have an alibi. His drunkenness could be a smokescreen.
He fits the profile. He travels a lot, has access to high society. Could be interesting.
You think that the jewel thief is the murderer?
Our friend would have needed another key to open the safe and steal the second eye, the one the Baroness was carrying. At least, that's what we implied.
What do you mean?
The Baroness was famous for her forgetfulness. I convinced her to give me the third key. It seems safer for the eye.
The thief searches the Baroness's cabin looking for the third key.
She returns from the saloon earlier than expected.
Surprises him, and he can't allow her to identify him.
He imprisons her until the coast is clear, and then shoots her.
And thus, the thief becomes a murderer.
But still doesn't have all the keys.
And this chloral hydrate?
Is a tranquilizer. Can be dissolved in alcohol. The effect begins in minutes and lasts for hours. Who gave you the glass of champagne?
I believe it was Captain de Conti.
If believing were enough for us, we'd have become priests, Constable. Be a policeman and find out for sure.
Understood. Are you sure that there's no bomb inside this time?
Professor Lucien locked it in front of an audience, and it will be opened for the first time in Cairo.
Let's hope so.
It would take hours to crack it, and you'd need heavy machinery.
Or the keys.
Or the 3 keys, that's right.
Do you really think that the Raven is behind all this?
He wrote the letter that was on the safe in the train. Without the letter, we wouldn't have opened the safe, and the bomb wouldn't have exploded.
But
Time for
it
detective
doesn't
time.
seem
Yep.
like him, does it? The Raven was famous in part because he never hurt anyone, much less killed anyone, during a burglary.
It's his handwriting, and he called me Nico. No one else does that. I chased that man across Europe for years. It is him. It has to be him.
But the evidence...
Enough.
I'll be on my way. I want to find out who gave me the drugged champagne.
Good idea.
Inspector Legrand? Are you okay? Maybe you should take a break.
I can sleep once I've caught the Raven. Goodbye, Constable.
Be seeing you.
Someone married to their job.
Legrand is risking not just his career, but his health as well on his hunt for the Raven. He's working like a demon. Maybe that's why he caught the Raven and no one else. An alarm like this one was set off yesterday. This one hasn't been set off. The security seal is intact.
Okay, so we can't enter in there. Can we examine the hallway?
I'm not paying for this trip, and that's a fair price for my cabin. It's rather plain, shall we say. No, I've slept enough.
I have slept enough. Oh, that's weird. I could hear the waves in my left ear. Okay.
No, Jacob. Business before pleasure. These things made quite a racket last night. I couldn't hear myself think.
Well, think of it this way. As I've said several times, he chased the original Raven, and then he shot who he thought was the Raven and was made this huge hero. And now there's rumors that the Raven is back, so he's like basically trying to prove himself all over again to keep his reputation up. His reputation literally lies
Lady
on them capturing
Westmacott
this.
seems to be an early bird, but maybe that's just because of all the excitement. I saw a twinkle in her eye on the train. She's eager to be part of a real detective story.
So yeah, he's probably heavily tunnel visioning.
Lady Westmacott, already on your... Oh,
Constable, don't you think before you speak?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No time for chit-chat. What have you found out?
We're still working
love
on
her.
the case. Actually, I have a couple of questions for you.
Please, go ahead.
What did you think of our adventure on the train? An extraordinary story, isn't it?
I'm glad that you were able to prove yourself, Mr. Zellner.
Hopefully not for the last time.
I'm glad that everything ended well. I want to thank you sincerely for taking care of Matthew. I can't bear to think about something happening to him.
It all
Aw.
worked out in the end. Do you think that the thief from the train and the murderer are the same person?
I think the new Raven is capable of anything.
Legrand believes there is no new Raven. He thinks that the old one has returned.
He said that.
Do you think it's possible? Everyone thinks he's dead.
As a dramatist, the return of the Raven would certainly be delightful. A legend comes back from the grave for one last job. It's quite romantic. At the same time, though, I'd be disappointed.
Why is that?
I followed the Raven's career closely. There weren't many burglars with such character and charm. His burglaries were clever and entertaining, but he was sloppy in London. He almost got caught, and I'll never forgive him for the affair on the train. No, I would much rather that the Raven stayed dead and had nothing to do with the burglary or the murder.
That's fair.
What do you think? Who is our suspect?
Everyone. Or almost everyone. Everyone on board is physically capable of shooting someone. But who has the dark desire to take the life of a defenseless person?
One cannot read minds.
And one should not try. You have to collect evidence, traces, clues. That's what will lead us to the killer. It won't be like a bad crime novel, in which they introduce a new character shortly before the end who, surprise, surprise, is also the murderer.
Murderers leave evidence. They're nervous or unnaturally relaxed. They have to adjust constantly.
And because of that, they make mistakes. This is your chance, Constable. If you find the mistake, you'll find your murderer.
I like it.
Have you noticed anything related to the murder?
Unfortunately not. I was already in my cabin and missed all the commotion. Damnable old age.
You're telling me.
Oh, you're still young. At my age, you have to expect that you won't experience much anymore. And although I've written about murder so many times, I've never actually witnessed one. How exciting.
I doubt everyone is so relaxed in such a situation.
Heartless is the word you're searching for, right, Constable? I certainly didn't want the Baroness to be murdered, but if I can't undo it, then I might as well enjoy it.
Murder mystery junkie for the win. Let's go.
What do you think of Inspector Legrand?
He seems to be as skilled as everyone says. Intelligent, focused. I had a chat with him yesterday, and he impressed me, but there's something haunted in his eyes.
I don't think he ever really stopped hunting the Raven.
Catching the Raven made him famous. What if he actually shot the wrong person? Unjustified fame bothers people, the good ones at least.
And you think he's one of the good ones?
Anyone who tries so hard to tear down his own memorial must be honorable. Or insane.
I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course. The alcoholic drinks and everything that goes with them is top-notch on this ship. Captain DeConti is sitting at the bar again. He gave me the glass of champagne last night. Hello, Captain DeConti.
Hey, Constable Zellner. You're back on your feet again. Glad to see it.
Did everyone drink from the same bottle of champagne last night?
There was more than one bottle, if that's what you mean. There were quite a few guests, and the event lasted several hours.
The last bottle of champagne, the one the Baroness drank from, did anyone else drink from it?
Certainly.
We have reason to believe that the champagne was drugged.
Incredible. But wouldn't that have made everyone drowsy?
Not if it was only the Baroness's glass that was drugged.
I see. That's possible. On a night like that, many glasses are filled and emptied. There are several stewards, many guests. No one keeps track of every glass and every bottle.
A few drops in a glass?
Yes, it's certainly possible.
What was your experience of last night?
Oh, terrible. Dinner was fantastic. Everyone was excited about having a pleasant drink under the stars. And then this.
You were in the saloon all night long.
As the captain, I have to care for my passengers. After you and the others rushed out, I tried to maintain a festive atmosphere. But when the alarm it goes off, I lose the battle.
How was the Baroness?
She really surprised me. After she was so unapproachable at the reception and didn't show her face for the entire afternoon, I was afraid she was one of the bores and bourgeoisie. But then she arrived in the early evening in the best of moods. Already had a few, if you know what I mean.
Did she say anything to you?
She asked me where Legrand's cabin was. I told her, then invited her to come for drinks in the evening. I said it would be great fun. The whole ship will be there, and you don't want to miss that, I told her.
And then?
She seemed to like the idea. She smiled and then left again for a few minutes. Then she came back and seemed very happy. We drank a toast to life.
Huh.
But at some point she didn't feel well anymore?
She overdid it a bit. She suddenly started to swoon and almost spilled her drink. I asked her if she wanted to rest for a moment in her cabin. At first, she didn't want to. She definitely wanted to stay in the saloon. But then she realized that she really did need to lie down. We left together. You know the rest of the story.
The glass you handed me last night, where did you get it?
Ah, I understand. You think your glass was poisoned as well?
Did you pour it yourself?
No. I saw that you weren't doing so well and wanted to rescue the situation. I took the first available glass and I give it to you.
Was it on the table?
No, I hurry over to you, together with Dr. Gebhardt, who... Of course. He had the glass in his hand. He was looking around for a place to set it down, so that he could examine you. I took it from him.
And gave it to me?
I'd like to apologize for that, but you look so worse for the wear.
He had two glasses in his
I
hand,
just
though.
wanted to comfort you. I didn't think of looking for a new glass for you.
So the doctor had the drugged glass in his hand.
But the captain had two glasses in his hand last night. Or the previous... Unless the other one was his.
Is it possible to find out where the alarm was set off?
I'm afraid not. There are alarms all over the ship.
I saw that they're sealed. Can't we just check whether the seal is broken?
I'm afraid they're gonna be missing on a lot of alarms. You know, this is an old ship, and over the years...
So, you're saying that the alarms haven't been regularly maintained?
I'll inform the crew immediately, of course.
Of course. What can you tell me about the passengers?
Oh, not that much, I'm afraid. I wanted to get to know them properly at the reception. In most cases, I just shook hands with them as they boarded the ship. There are a few regulars on board, and after dinner, I had a conversation with Mr. Kreutzer, a talented violinist, and Lady Westmacott. But you already know them from the train.
It seems like there aren't that many passengers on board.
These bloody airplanes are making our lives miserable. Can you imagine? Grown men prefer to jam themselves into a narrow metal coffins instead of enjoying the fresh sea air on a ship.
It's all about saving time.
It shouldn't be about how much time it takes to get from A to B, but about how you spend that time. What do you experience on the journey? That's what it's about.
He has a
I'll get
point.
back to my investigations now.
Ciao, Constable.
He has a point. Okay, so let's see.
These little sachets contain the evidence we've collected. At least the evidence that fits in little sachets.
Sachet. I love that sachet. um. Legrand gave me permission to search the Baroness's cabin, so let's go do that. No, I don't want to go downstairs. There we go.
This is the first murder scene I've ever set foot in.
There's something about the captain that's rubbing me the wrong way. Yeah.
There's still blood on the mattress. The sheet and the blanket have already been removed. To analyze them, I suppose. Nothing. The blood spot is the only sign that someone committed a crime in here. Somehow... That's odd. The blood is so... red. Shouldn't it gradually darken in the air? Turn brown? The unusual color of the blood could be something that Legrand and Dr. Gebhardt missed last night. All cats are gray in the dark, as the saying goes. I should take a sample. The unusual color of all cats...
Okay, it's not letting me... Okay, maybe I have to find something first. Whoops.
A tape recorder. Must go with the built-in speakers. Probably part of the cabin's furnishings. The tape recorder is older than the hills, but it was once very expensive. Top of the range. And it doesn't come cheap. Strange.
Exactly.
There's only
It
one
might not be.
reel. And it's the wrong one. No. No sign of the original reel. A reel made by Zeibling. I know the brand. Zeibling's tapes can be overwritten many times without losing quality. They're used in offices so that executives can record messages for the secretaries on the same tape over and over again. But they're not good for much else. They're robust, but they don't offer much in terms of sound quality.
Let me see something. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. Being stubborn. Okay. No, it might not be blood.
Big, ugly, and impractical vase. If it had a wider opening, one could at least use it as an umbrella stand. The mannequin surely came with the cabin. A mannequin for the Baroness's clothes would have a more generous figure. The notepad has the ship's emblem on it. I suppose all the first-class cabins have them.
Ugh, I don't like that sound.
It says, Inspector, be in the saloon at 10 p.m. There is a murderer on board and I will expose him. B. The Baroness seems to have known the murderer. And that means that the Raven can't be the murderer. He never killed anybody. Legrand probably never got the message. Otherwise, he'd have said something. The most unportable portmanteau I've ever seen. A portable bar is more like it.
Yeah.
Must be hard work transporting this big, heavy thing halfway around the globe. And the Baroness was lucky that the other freight cars were only lightly damaged by the explosion. An impressive piece, but I don't think it'll get me anywhere with the murder investigations. Can't see anything. Wow, heavier than it looks. Aha! Why were the down feathers tossed in the vase? Or is there anything else in there? There may be something else in the vase, but the neck is too narrow to reach in with my hand. There may be something else in...
But when you break it, break it.
Apparently, the Baroness didn't have time to unpack her bags. Or rather, didn't have time to tell her butler to unpack them for her. Sifting through all that would take ages. But here, the Baroness's handbag. Aha! A small leather-bound book. 1964 is engraved on it. This must be the Baroness's diary. Let's see. Yes, it's a diary, all right. Difficult to read. No entry from yesterday. A brief, sober description of what she's done recently. Met Morris, arranged benefit concert for renovation of Louvre Southeastern Wing, Times photo shoot for Eye of Sphinx, BM, poor excuse for photographer, too fidgety, and so on. This entry looks strange. The handwriting is shaky, difficult to read. Dreamt of Bobby. Yesterday would have been his birthday. Next week, Jay's. Something's under there. Down feathers. Maybe from a quilt or a pillow. Nothing special. Although, It seems like one of the feathers was scorched at the top, literally burnt. I'll take it with me.
Let's see here.
Cosmetics, a handkerchief, a spectacles case. Nothing special. There may be something else in the vase, but the neck is too narrow to reach in with my hand. The portholes face the side deck. If someone climbed out of the cabin through a porthole, Legrand and I would have seen them. The unusual color of the all cats.
Nope, he said that already. Hum.
Sunflowers. By Van Gogh, I presume. He liked to paint that sort of thing. Can't be an original. They cost thousands of francs.
Come back over here.
The portholes are locked. One cannot open or close them from outside. It's the same problem as with the door. If someone left the cabin through the porthole, how did they lock it? And the Baroness wasn't shot from outside. The doctor said she was shot at close range. The Baroness was a very busy woman, and it looks like she had to cope with loss. She writes about Bubby and Jay. Neither seem to be alive anymore. Almost every family lost loved ones in the war. Maybe hers as well. I'll leave it there. I don't have time to read all of it.
Why is there an option to take it if he's just gonna be like, I don't want to take it?
More feathers, and they're singed as well. I'd better take it with me.
It's possible, but also consider the idea of someone using a pillow as a makeshift silencer. Would explain why there's feathers everywhere. Okay, so we can't really look at much else right now, so we're gonna go back to Legrand. It's not gonna let me. I have to go over here first. Wow, okay.
The unusual all.
I hate that it won't like.
The door frame was damaged when Dr. Gebhardt kicked it in. The real question is, why was the door locked in the first place? Assuming the murderer isn't a magician, and the Baroness locked the door herself before she went to bed, the murderer couldn't have left the cabin through the door. So, the murderer must have still been in here when Dr. Gebhardt kicked the door in. Which is unlikely because someone would have seen him, or he found another way out of the cabin.
There's the butler.
The Baroness's butler looks like he didn't get much sleep. I would describe his facial expression as worried. Hello, Mr. Inch.
Oh, Constable, hello.
You look
The
worse for
butler.
wear. It must be terrible for you.
Quite terrible. No one will hire me now.
Excuse me?
My mistress was murdered. Would you hire a butler who's been mixed up in a murder?
But if it turns out that you're not guilty...
If. But what if not? Who else would they blame? There are no gardeners on this ship.
I understand your problem. Under these circumstances, I'm sure you'd answer some questions that could help clear your name, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Did you notice anything suspicious last night?
No, sir.
Naha,
After the
the
Baroness went to the
papa.
saloon, I went to the forecastle. I was there until the alarm went off. I went to the side deck and arrived shortly after Professor Lucien and Miss Miller. We found you and Inspector Legrand there. You were unconscious, and the inspector asked us to take care of you.
Did you hear the gunshot?
No, just the alarm, sir.
You said you were on the forecastle. It sounded like the Baroness let you have the rest of the night off.
Not entirely, sir. One of the crew informed me that the Baroness wanted to be roused at 10:15.
Right. Why was that?
I suppose that she wanted to toast the success of the journey with the captain and the other passengers.
She hadn't intended to take a nap, then?
That was not her way, sir. She had a lot of spirit, shall we say, when it came to social engagements and a glass or two of champagne.
The Baroness's cabin seems to have been ransacked.
Indeed, sir, by the Baroness herself.
Really?
She was searching for something the entire afternoon.
And did she find it?
I think she did, sir, yes. She was in high spirits when she finally left her cabin.
You wouldn't happen to know what she was looking for, would you?
I'm afraid not.
Would you describe the Baroness as orderly?
Well, she always had a lot of responsibilities, sir.
That doesn't answer my question.
She used to take a lot of luggage on journeys, and I helped her keep track of it as best I could. She was always very angry when she couldn't find something.
What about the photos and the documents I saw in her cabin?
I really don't know. They were out of bounds to me, sir. Memories from the war, I'd say. They meant a lot to her.
The Baroness seemed to be pretty drunk the last time I saw her.
Is that so?
Does that surprise you? Did the Baroness not drink?
Oh, yes, she drank. It was no secret.
I understand. How serious was her habit?
Serious enough, sir.
Was she under any medical supervision?
Certainly not, sir. She adamantly refused to see a doctor. Like so many elderly women, she had a distinct aversion to hospitals and the like.
How long had you worked for the Baroness?
6 months, sir.
Only 6 months? I always thought that butlers stayed with their employers for decades.
Those decades have to start at some point, Constable. Her former butler wasn't able to fulfill his duties any longer. Gout, sir.
I understand.
I took on his duties and hoped for a secure position for the next 20 years.
May I ask what happened to your arm?
A souvenir from the war, sir.
Doesn't it hinder your work?
Yes, sir, obviously.
I didn't mean to offend you.
The Baroness had a soft spot for disabled veterans. I think she'd been through a lot herself.
I think that's all for now.
Please, sir, find the murderer. You have to clear me of all suspicion.
Suspicious. Okay, nobody's here.
I hope I don't find myself needing a life jacket. He won't let me talk to our young friend. He respects Legrand far too much to disobey his orders. If I want to get into the cargo hold, I'll have to get rid of the constable first.
I love how he's saying this out loud right next to him. Yeah, totally. Just say your plan right there where he can hear you. The butler's also very odd. Isn't that the point of most murder mysteries? Everybody acts suspicious until you find the actual culprit. everybody's a suspect. Let's go talk to Legrand for a second. You like that too? Ooh.
Come in. Constable?
Even the inspector, yep.
About the tranquilizer.
Who gave you the glass of champagne?
It was Captain de Conti.
You're sure?
He doesn't deny it, but he also says that the glasses passed through many hands that night and that everyone had access to the champagne.
So it could have been anyone.
Maybe the question isn't who put the poison in the glass, but rather who it was they wanted to poison.
Smart. And who were they trying to poison?
Dr. Gebhardt? The captain got the glass from him.
An unconscious ship's doctor. That sounds like it would be more use to a murderer than a drugged constable.
You think so? Did the murderer have reason to assume that his shot might not kill the victim immediately and that Dr. Gebhardt would be able to save her?
You're right. That's improbable. My ego is just searching for reasons for them to want to kill her and not me. Good job, Zellner.
I found feathers in the Baroness's cabin.
Really?
Some were under the Baroness's bed, others were in a vase next to the door.
I hope this is leading up to some information that justifies this interruption.
Some of the feathers are singed.
Show me. Well, you may have something here.
I think that someone fired a shot through a pillow or something like that, and the muzzle flash scorched the down.
Yes, possible. Try to find the pillow and we'll take it from there.
I knew it!
I took a closer look at the blood spot from the Baroness's bed.
Yes, what's wrong with it?
It looks odd.
Odd?
I think it should be darker.
I understand. The iron in blood causes it to darken the longer it's exposed to the air.
Right. And
we don't have time to waste. Dr. Gebhardt, examine the body thoroughly. He would have noticed if anything was wrong.
And you trust Dr. Gebhardt completely?
I trust everyone as much as is advisable. There will be a complete autopsy in Cairo. Until then, the doctor is one of the few people on board who is not a suspect. You, him, the stowaway, Constable Oliver, and I all have alibis.
There are still enough suspects left. I was able to make the traces of a note on the Baroness's notepad legible. She wrote that a murderer is on board and that she'll unmask him. She asks the recipient to meet her in the saloon at 10 p.m. If we can find the recipient.
I was the recipient.
Monsieur?
When I entered my cabin last night, I found a message on the floor. Someone must have slipped it under the door.
Why didn't you say anything about it?
I didn't know that I was obliged to.
We are partners.
Not really. You're helping me out until we reach Cairo, because you somehow managed to remain on board.
But
I'll choose when and with whom I share information. You can accept that and continue assisting me, or you can spend the rest of the journey on a deck chair thinking about missed opportunities.
And none of this is by any chance related to the fact that the message doesn't suit your Raven theory. The Baroness knew the murderer from the past, and he was already a murderer when he boarded the ship. The Raven was always just a thief, not a murderer.
Careful, Constable. Are you accusing me of perverting the facts?
Of course not, monsieur.
Then let's get back to work. Good day, Constable.
I'll be in touch if I uncover more clues.
Very well.
Neither Dr. Gebhardt nor Constable Oliver can keep up with Legrand's pace. But in contrast to good old Robert, the doctor doesn't let himself get roped in for the long haul. I wonder what would happen if Legrand dragged him out of bed for another investigation. Dr. Gebhardt locked the door, and until I have good reason, I won't wake him up. Something tells me that he wouldn't be amused.
Alrighty, let's see. Yeah, I already did that. Time to drag the good doctor to work.
I better not bother him until I have something new to report. He seems too stressed to tolerate disturbances.
Oh, I was gonna set the alarm off. Nope, not happening. Key. Put the red on the sheets. Yeah.
I'm sure Captain DeConti wouldn't mind a chat, but I don't think he can help me at the moment. I shouldn't bother her until I have some news. Her mind is still razor sharp, and I'll need it to crack this case. I don't want to blunt it by using it too often.
Okay.
The death of his mistress doesn't really bother Inch. He's only worried about his own future.
I mean, he has a legit reason to be concerned.
There may be something else in the vase, but the neck is too narrow to reach in with my hand.
Hmm.
I don't care what Legrand and Dr. Gebhardt say. The blood spot looks strange, and I'd like to take a sample. Maybe I'll get the chance to analyze it. I don't care what... Maybe...
Question is, how?
There may be something else.
Okie dokie. Well, hold on. So let me see here, because we've talked to everybody that we run into.
As expected, fresh ice and tongs.
Constable Zelda, what is the meaning of this? Are even the police light-fingered nowadays?
I need this tool for a criminal investigation.
Well then, why didn't you say so? But bring the tongs back when you're done, otherwise I'll have cold fingers all day.
Hmm. Okay. She is not out and about. The only people out and about right now are the butler, Legrand, Oliver, and Lady Westmacott and the captain. And then, of course, ourselves. Everybody else is still asleep.
Could work. There's something in there. Ah. Someone stuffed this in the vase. Looks like it's been used to muffle a gunshot. If this isn't an important discovery, I don't know what is. Legrand, here I come. Another alarm. It was tripped at some point. The seal is broken. But there's no way of telling whether it happened yesterday or 5 years ago.
Hmm. Not sure. Okay, yeah. Nobody else is up. So, back to Legrand. Because we found the pillow.
A singed pillowcase is proof that there must have been a second gunshot. Inspector?
Can't you knock?
I didn't realize. I'm really.
I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going to question each passenger individually. Anyone without an airtight alibi will be checked for gunshot residue.
But, Inspector.
People trip up when you put pressure on them, Constable Zellner. The Raven is nervous. He's changed his methodology and become a murderer. I'll see it in his eyes. After you.
But, Inspector Legrand.
Ooh.
We have no proof that the Raven and the murderer are the same person. Quite the opposite. The Baroness's message hints at the fact that she knew the murderer and that he'd killed before.
You may not know it, but I do. I will catch him with or without your help.
I don't believe it. What's gotten into him? Ah, well. It makes no sense to tell him about my theories if his opinion is already set. I need evidence. Or better yet, the murderer. I need to get in there somehow. And I really need to talk to the stowaway. He may have information, and the inspector will just ignore him, since he's too young to be the Raven.
Alrighty.
Mr. Kreutzer, come on, you have to give me a bit more. You're the only one who was on the train and who has no alibi for last night.
As I said, I was in my cabin.
Are you sure that it was your cabin and not
Yep.
the Baroness?
Yes, he is.
Legrand will question the guests, one after another. But if he doesn't get the answers that he wants to hear, it could become unpleasant for them. Lady Westmacott, may I bother you for a moment?
By all means, Mr. Zellner.
How is the questioning going?
Are you implying that I'm an eavesdropper? The inspector is placing a lot of pressure on our dear Mr. Kreutzer. He's the only one who was on the train and who doesn't have an alibi for last night.
Perhaps. But him? A murderer?
I know people like him. He doesn't have enough backbone to kill someone in cold blood and remain so calm. He'd turn it into a drama and then a farce, drink himself insensible, and then, railing at fate, pitch himself into the sea. Forget him. Legrand is wasting his time. Mr. Kreutzer just happens to be a perfect fit for the inspector's image of the Raven.
Athletic, cultured, moves among the rich and famous?
I'll eat his violin if he's the Raven or the murderer.
I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
I'll eat his
Keep me
violin.
informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course.
I love that. I'm sorry.
Legrand is absorbed in the interrogation. He still seems pretty annoyed. The violinist seems to be bearing the brunt of it. Legrand will attend to the interrogations, and I'll handle the investigation. I won't talk to him again until I'm ready to present the murderer. Excellent. Ah, that's just what I needed. Coffee is not bad at all, but 1 cup is enough. English ham and eggs. One advantage on an international trip is the international breakfast. Many of my fellow countrymen think it's outrageous to eat fried bacon, sausages, or anything heavy for breakfast.
Coffee!
I, on the other hand, think ham and eggs are the only worthwhile contribution the English have made to international cuisine.
Interesting. Oh no! I'm stuck! Walking in place.
Miss Mayers seems to have found an opportunity to do nothing. Hello, Miss Mayers.
Hello, Mr.
Constable Zellner. Do you think it's appropriate to go sunbathing in a situation like this?
What situation?
A woman was murdered last night.
If refusing to sunbathe could bring the dead back to life, I'd go back to my cabin immediately.
Did you hear or see anything suspicious last night?
No, I didn't feel very well last night. I went to bed early.
So, you're feeling better this morning?
Thanks for asking.
Beast, I keep forgetting that you're British.
I'm sure
Certain
your parents
comments,
are
I'm sure they're
truly
like,
sorry
what?
that they can't be with you at this difficult time.
Maybe. But I'm not a little girl anymore. And thinking about my fiancé keeps me going.
You're engaged?
Yes. My boyfriend and I got engaged right before the trip. I want to surprise my parents, especially my dad.
I'm sure he'll be very surprised. But what will you do if your father doesn't agree to the engagement?
What choice does he have when he put me on this boat full of thieves and murderers in the first place?
Charming. Enjoy the sun, Miss Mayers, and don't let us disturb you.
If you're trying to make me feel guilty, Constable, it's not working.
Wow.
Captain DeConti seems old and tired. The price you pay for a life like his, I suppose.
I think the best thing to just keep in mind that this game is set in the 60s, the 1960s, and a lot of things have changed since then. And then our character is also Swiss. I think he's Swiss. So if it's any consolation, I love sausage with my breakfast foods. Hey, Maddie!
Matt is keeping himself busy with that strange game. He seems to be okay again. But I think he'd be running around all over the place if he'd really come to terms with what happened on the train. Miss Miller and the professor are talking intensely. She seems pretty relaxed, by her standards. Good morning, Miss Miller. Professor Lucien?
Constable Zellner, how are you? I heard you passed out last night.
Well, not quite. I was poisoned.
Oh.
That wretch!
Who do you mean by that wretch?
That stowaway. That new raven.
The young man can't be the murderer. Constable Oliver had already apprehended him when the shot was fired.
You mean...
Whoever killed the Baroness is still
That noise was
on the
Matt's.
loose.
I think I should take my leave. I'd like to rest for a while.
One last question, Professor. Do you think the eye is well protected in the safe in Legrand's cabin?
Of course it is. They assured me that it would take hours of work with heavy machinery to crack the safe. And if Legrand isn't in his cabin, Constable Oliver or I check that everything is in order every hour.
I understand.
I want to go back to my cabin. I'll see you later, Mary.
Oh, of course. See you later.
I didn't want to interrupt your conversation with Professor Lucien so abruptly.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Learning that there's still a burglar on board seemed to frighten him.
He was so relaxed the whole time, and then...
And then the stupid Swiss constable
He is
came
Swiss,
by
okay.
and made him anxious.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
No matter. I'm sure he'll calm down and come back soon enough. May I ask you a few questions?
Everyone says to you, Beast.
How is Matt? He seems happy enough.
After all the commotion, he's already back to his old self again. But I haven't told him about the murder. That would be a bit too much for him.
I think he's made of sterner stuff.
I want to thank you again for what you did on the train. I wouldn't have known...
Everything's fine. Think nothing of it. How was last night for you?
It was awful. I was having a conversation with Edgar, Professor Lucien, here on the forecastle. Then I wanted to look
Matt's
for the
not
lady
sus.
and went forward via the side deck. When I passed the Baroness's cabin, I heard a muffled scream.
You heard a scream?
Yes. I thought the Baroness probably had a fall. I went to the door and listened for a moment. Since I couldn't hear anything, I knocked on the door and asked whether she was all right. There was no answer.
Interesting. And then?
I didn't know what to do, so I tried to open the door. It was locked. I saw the Baroness's butler, Mr. Inch, on the forecastle. I thought he might have the key and went back. On the way, the bobby crossed my path, and then Edgar, who wanted to check the safe. I explained the situation to him, and then the alarm went off.
How did the scream sound?
It was a short outcry, very frightened, as if someone had been startled.
Was it a woman's voice?
Yes, the voice was high.
So it could have been a scream from the Baroness. Possibly because she discovered someone in her cabin.
Possibly.
That person might have threatened her with a weapon, so that she wouldn't scream for help.
Oh, God.
He waited until the coast was clear.
Oh, please, stop it, Mr. Zellner.
The Baroness's butler said that he was on the forecastle as well?
Yes, he was standing on the other side of the deck smoking a cigarette.
Was he on the forecastle the whole time?
I'm not sure. He was there, and later he was on the side deck with us. Oh, yes, he looked after you while you were unconscious. He unbuttoned your collar and held your head while the doctor checked you.
But you can't say for certain whether he came from the forecastle with you and Professor Lucien, or afterwards.
Well, no. But where else could he have come from?
Did you report that to Inspector Legrand?
Yes, last night. He was very interested and took a lot of notes. But I wanted to look for Lady Westmacott, and he let me go without further delay. He said that he'd take down my full statement today.
I understand.
Do you think the man from the train also killed the Baroness, Constable Zellner?
I don't know yet.
It's horrible. Explosions, thieves, murderers. This isn't the right place for a lady and a little boy.
You and Professor Lucien seem to be having a lively conversation.
Oh, yes. He's an expert in ancient Egyptian art and preeminent in hieroglyphic research. He's the head of the Egyptian department in the British Museum, you know. And he's going to open an exhibition at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Right. For the eye.
They had planned on exhibiting both jewels together for the first time in decades, but that's not going to happen now, sadly. I think it's quite upsetting for him.
We're working hard to ensure that at least one eye will be on display.
I know. I'll ask Lady Westmacott if she'd like to participate in the opening of the exhibition. I think it would be good for her.
And Professor Lucien will surely offer you a private tour. You're American, aren't you?
That's correct.
And you moved to England because of the job?
I lived in England before. During the Second World War, I volunteered. I worked in a pharmacy on a US base north of London.
In a pharmacy? Interesting.
Well, it was the war and everyone was sent where they could help best.
Please, go on, Mrs. Miller.
After the war, I studied music in London. I met my husband there. We married and went back to the States together.
He was also American?
No, English. But he said he had problems with his family and he wanted to be as far from them as possible.
And you gave up your studies for him?
Well, yes, I did.
Life as a single mother couldn't have been easy.
It was pretty tough then. I worked from morning till night and it was still only enough for the bare necessities. And I couldn't give Matt all the attention he needed.
Very interesting indeed.
Lady Westmacott entered your life.
It was like an angel appeared to me. She must have offered me the position out of pity. I had no experience as a carer. She made me a generous offer. I couldn't believe it. And she really adores Matt. She's offered him a good education, and now he has every opportunity in life.
An almost unbelievable story.
I'm still afraid that it's a dream and that I'll wake up one day.
How does it feel to work for such a world-famous person?
The work is very interesting and varied, and it pays well, too.
You are very lucky that the lady offered the position to you.
I just hope she won't change her mind one day. What would become of Matt's education then? I really make an effort to measure up to Lady Westmacott's expectations, but sometimes I feel like I fall short.
Lady Westmacott couldn't ask for a better companion.
I'm saving up as much money as I can all the same. I'd do anything so that Matt doesn't have to give up his new life.
Lady Westmacott dropped a hint on the train that she killed her hero, Partout. What did she mean by that?
Oh, she must have meant the manuscript.
Manuscript?
She always takes it with her. It's an unpublished Partout novel. I once asked her why she never published it. She said that according to her will, the novel's only to be published after her death.
And in it, Partout will be killed?
Maybe. I've never read it. No one has. You'd better ask her yourself.
If you worked in a pharmacy, you would certainly know something about medicines and poisons.
Everything is a potential poison, Constable. It depends on the dose.
Have you ever heard of chloral hydrate?
It's a tranquilizer, isn't it?
I'm asking you.
Well, Lady Westmacott also asked questions like that for her last novel. But since I've never wanted to kill anyone, I never bothered with things like strychnine and arsenic and all that. I could recommend something for a headache, sore throat, or rash.
That's kind of you, but there's really no need. I'll be seeing you.
He did the question!
Hello there, partner.
Hi.
Are you all right?
Uh-huh.
Have you recovered from our adventure?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Zellner.
Hmm?
What's going on?
What do you mean?
Everybody's acting so strange, and there's tape across that door. I saw that in a movie once.
You don't have to be worried.
Is it about the man from the train?
It might be about the thief, yes.
Haven't you caught him yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I heard you and your mom used to argue a lot.
We did. Everything was bad. The house, school, the other kids. We didn't have much money, and I was always alone.
You do know that your mother would love to have been with you, don't you? She had to go out to work to earn money.
She wouldn't have had to if Dad were still around.
And how do you get along with her now?
I'm always happy when we do something together on vacation. She has more time for me now, and I like my boarding school. I have lots of friends, and the teachers aren't so bad.
Your mother and Professor Lucien seem to be on very good terms with each other. Don't you like him?
Don't know.
He seems to be very nice.
I guess.
Lady Westmacott is all by herself in the saloon. Maybe you'd like to visit her later.
Sure. The lady tells exciting stories.
I know. She's my favorite writer.
She told me that it's not much fun to write detective novels. She'd rather write something else, but her fans always want the same thing.
They made her rich and famous.
I told her to write what she wants to write. If it's good, someone will buy it. And if not, at least she had fun writing it. Then she smiled and nodded. She said it was a good idea.
That is a good idea.
What are you playing there?
I'm playing shuffleboard. At least I'm trying to.
Never played it before.
It's easy. Professor Lucien explained it to me.
And who won?
We didn't play.
You didn't want to play with him, did you? Do you want to play a game with me?
Sure.
I think you'll have to explain the rules to me first.
Okay. You play with the blue pucks and I play with the red ones. You have to push the pucks with this stick into the zone over there and score as many points as possible.
Sounds easy. How many pucks do I have?
6. Now here comes the kicker. First it's your turn, then mine, and so on. But everyone is allowed to shoot the other person's pucks out of the zone.
Then let's get started.
Oh yeah. What are we playing for?
I thought we'd just play for fun.
That's boring. We have to bet something. Otherwise it isn't fun.
You English people.
So I'll bet my brand new slingshot. And you?
I don't want to gamble.
How about ice cream in Cairo?
Okay. If I win,
I think
get
it's
the
exactly like
slingshot.
that.
If I lose, I get an ice cream in Cairo.
Hey! Never try to cheat Matt Miller. So, what do you say? Ice cream versus slingshot?
All right. Let the games begin.
I don't know how this is working. I don't know how to play this. Oh. Oh. Oof.
Rats.
Haha, I win. That's one ice cream for me.
You've been practicing. This time I'll win.
Nah, I doubt that.
Now I know how to work this. Too hard. Oh, that's too powerful. Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for that. He's cheating!
Oh.
I win again. That's another ice cream.
This?
Nah.
Oh, not enough. Oh, darn.
Oh.
That's another ice cream.
Problem is,
This
I have to
time
win
I'll
this.
win.
I have to get the
Nah,
slingshot.
I doubt that.
Hey! I still win. I
That's
won!
it.
Oh, man.
The athlete wins the day.
One more time.
No, that's enough for me.
All right.
Matt, you won 3 times in a
Here.
row!
Are you sure?
Gambling debts are debts of honor.
I'll give it back to you when I don't need it anymore, okay?
Okay, but make sure my mom doesn't catch you with it. She thinks it's dangerous.
51 points! Okay, hold on. Do-do-do. Hmm.
If I had some ammo, I'm sure I could hit the bottle.
Question, where do we get? Trying to figure out here. Where do I get those from? I'm confused.
I'll let him play for now.
Sweet! That's awesome! Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Where do I get the stones? Yeah, for the slingshot. Because he even said he doesn't have ammo. Trying to figure it out here. Hold on. It's acting like you're supposed to have them already.
Maybe Miss Miller has found something of a soulmate in the archaeologist. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee that the two of them will end up together. People with low self-esteem tend to sabotage their own happiness. I don't know what else to ask her at the moment.
Aww.
The stowaway surely didn't sleep well last night in the cargo hold, although his cell is probably more comfortable than my cabin, and more spacious. The bottle should be full of water, unless the good constable happens to have a secret alcohol problem. No way to verify that. I can't get the bottle without him noticing.
I feel like I missed something somewhere. I clicked everything here.
An antique wooden globe. If Galileo hadn't asserted himself back then, this would be a flat disk now. The globe nicely shows that 4/5 of the Earth's surface is covered by water. Looking out the window, I'd call that an understatement.
I think I've missed something somewhere.
There should be a ventilation shaft behind the hatch. Usually a good way to break in and out undetected. But we're on a ship. The ventilation shafts are very small here. I can't say why, and it seems impossible. But something tells me that the murderer entered and left the cabin through the door. The only question is how.
Okay. Oh.
Legrand locked the door. The lock isn't especially secure. If I had a wire or something like that, I could probably pick it. Dr. Gebhardt locked the door, and until I have good reason, I won't wake him up. Something tells me that he wouldn't be amused.
Okay.
It's not fair. There's a magnificent buffet, but I don't have an appetite. Maybe a side effect of the tranquilizer. Lady Westmacott, may I bother you for a moment?
By all means, Mr. Zellner.
Did Miss Miller cope with all the excitement?
I think so, but what happened on the train was quite a shock for her. She wouldn't be able to go on if something happened to Matthew.
She's worried about him.
He's all she has. It breaks her heart that he lives at a boarding school and can't always be with her. But she sets her wishes and needs aside so that he can get a good education. That's her way.
Where is Matthew's father?
Gone. Run off. Ran away from his problems again. He drank a lot. More and more after each setback. It's better for both of them this way.
He left her.
She couldn't have borne it. She loved him and wanted to stick by him. She fell out with her family over him. They couldn't understand her. And when he left her, the ground opened up beneath her feet. For 2 weeks, she was as good as dead. If she didn't have Matthew, she'd be dead.
You seem to know a lot about it. I mean, about the time before Miss Miller began working for you.
I have my reasons.
And Matthew, do you care as deeply about the children of your other employees?
If you fail with your own child, you hope to do better with others, Constable.
And the idea to send Matt to a boarding school
was mine. Matthew idolized his father and blamed his mother for the fact that he wasn't around anymore. I was afraid the situation would escalate if he had to live on a country estate alone with his mother and some old people. I think I was right. He quickly made friends at boarding school. He's popular, well-liked, a real athlete according to his teachers, and his relationship with his mother has improved as well. He's headed in the right direction.
Miss Miller told me that you have a valuable manuscript with you.
That is correct.
An unpublished Part 2 novel. The manuscript must be worth a fortune.
Oh, it's not just any Part 2 novel. I wrote it 20 years ago, but it will only be published after my death. It's Part 2's last case. Maurice Partout dies.
You're going to kill him off?
I already have. And I enjoyed it.
Madam.
I was so sick of writing one Partout novel after another. I was keen to stick a knife in his guts. And so, 20 years ago, I did. Of course, I didn't want to disappoint my fans, so I let him solve case after case. But at least I was certain that he'd never escape me, that in the end, I would get him.
I understand. Let's just hope that this novel remains unpublished for many more years. I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course. Legrand will attend to the interrogations, and I'll handle the investigation. I won't talk to him again until I'm ready to present the murderer. I'm sure Captain DeConti wouldn't mind a chat, but I don't think he can help me at the moment. I'm sure
Very confused.
The gangway is hard to miss. Why did the murderer drop the gun on the gangway? They must have noticed their mistake, even if their back was to the sea. So, why didn't they take the gun and throw it a few meters farther into the sea?
I don't know. We're trying though. I can't even click it.
It's not fair. There's a
I guess I can just look at that over and over again. No, I can't even. I can't even click the ice dish.
The death of his mistress doesn't really bother Inch. He's only worried about his own future.
I have not a clue.
I'll let him play for now.
What do you want?
Inspector Legrand is questioning the first of the passengers in the saloon.
And?
It will be hours before he gets to the stowaway.
And?
We'll save time if I question him.
We'd also save time if you stopped asking me the same things over and over again. I will not let you in. What time is it, by the way?
Got an appointment?
No, but I'm hungry.
Go and get yourself something. I'll mind the door in the meantime.
Ha. You could bring me something, though.
So, what do you want to eat?
Oh, anything. An apple or something like that.
There's ham and eggs in the saloon.
I can't touch them.
Why not?
Sergeant Mills.
Hmm?
He's responsible for the fitness of the unit, and he'll chew you out if he thinks you've packed on a few pounds.
I see. Leave it with me.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, Captain's gone. Okay, so we did something right, I guess, by talking to him.
Whatever Constable Oliver wants, he's getting ham and eggs. And just a pinch of salt for our friendly constable. Good.
That's not a pinch of salt. That was a lot of salt.
Constable Oliver.
Huh?
Ham and eggs, piping hot.
Oh, I shouldn't really.
I don't see anyone here who'd rebuke you. It was a hard night.
Yeah, true. Oh, delicious. Just enough salt.
He likes that much salt?
Oh, that was good of you. Cheers.
You don't expect me to wash your dirty dishes as well, do you?
Oh, of course not, Your Majesty. Oh, that was a proper meal and no mistake.
Constable Oliver is drinking the water he brought along. Without it, he'd get very thirsty.
I'm so confused. Hold on. When in doubt, time to look up a walkthrough. Oh, that okay. That wow. That was not readily like helpful. So we did some stuff out of order, unfortunately.
Aha! Little stones.
Yeah, we were supposed to break his water bottle before giving him the food.
Perfect ammunition for the slingshot.
I don't know. It may let us do it again. We'll see.
The little stones make perfect ammunition for the slingshot. Now I just need a suitable target. All right.
Ow! 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 Ah! Hey, Zelda, what in blazes was that?
What?
Something hit me!
You mean someone shot at you?
Yes, well, no, I don't know. Didn't you notice anything?
I was riveted by the fantastic view. We Swiss aren't used to seeing the horizon like this.
And my bottle's broken too! Oh, I don't believe this. Could you bring me something to drink? Those ham and eggs were pretty salty.
I'm sorry. I have to proceed with my investigations. Goodbye. Let's see how long he can resist his thirst.
Okay. The game is set to
Not long at all. Nervous? I would be too in your position. Who are you?
My name is Adil, and you are...
Constable Zellner. Why did you sneak onto the ship, Adil?
I wanted to go back home.
You're Egyptian?
There's no work for me in Italy. I want to see my family again.
And since you don't have money, you stowed away.
So what if I did?
So, it was you who knocked me out.
Me? Never.
No? Where were you when I was attacked?
Well, I couldn't take anything with me on this trip, so I snuck into the kitchen and took some canned goods.
Interesting. And how do you know when I was attacked?
Well, I thought it was yesterday, shortly before we set sail.
I take this bump personally. What were you searching for on deck last night?
I was hiding the whole evening. I wanted to go out and get some fresh air, see the stars. But then suddenly, they were looking for me.
Were you in one of the cabins?
No.
Did you see anyone on the deck or on the roof?
No.
And after we arrested you?
The English policeman put me in this cell. Then he left. I've been here ever since.
And you didn't notice anything along the way?
No, nothing.
What about the gunshot? Didn't you hear it?
Yes. The English policeman had already arrested me. We heard a bang and looked around.
And then?
Then, the Bobby was in a hurry to get rid of me. He almost pushed me down the stairs and locked me in here. He left, and then a short time later, the alarm went off.
Constable Oliver wasn't with you anymore when the alarm went off?
No. I was scared that the ship would sink with me sitting here like a rat in a trap.
It's hard for me to believe a single word of your story.
Because I'm a foreigner?
Because you seem to have learned our language in the space of a day. Accent-free.
Believe what you want.
Who paid you to distract us?
What?
You went for a walk around the deck and let yourself be seen. Everyone goes off hunting you, and in the meantime, your partner shoots the Baroness in peace.
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't want to distract anyone. I just want to go home.
You're a liar, and a bad one at that.
But sir, I'm telling the truth.
And I'm the Raven. Inspector Legrand will deal with you. He's lying like a cheap rug. But he probably doesn't know anything about the murder. Very disappointing. So I have to keep searching. What interests me most is the shot that was fired here in the cargo hold last night. Whoever fired the shot hit the crate. Did the shooter just want to intimidate me? Or maybe he needed the bullet. Can't see anything. If the bullet is still stuck in the wood, it's too deep to reach with my fingers. No, the bullet hole is too small for the tongs.
Too small.
The cargo hold also seems to serve as a changing room for the crew, at least for the ones who don't wear white uniforms.
Get any medical tongs?
Maybe
Yeah.
I won't get another chance to look around the cargo hold. I must try to find out who was responsible for the shot. stroke of luck.
Music got really
the
loud
lock
all of a
is
sudden.
open. Oil-stained overalls. And here, an old toolbox. It's been through a lot. Hardly any paint, dented, and the lid is held shut by a wire. I'll take it with me.
Hey, there's the wire we needed for Legrand's door.
Some wrenches, a bit of wire wool, an oily cloth, and here, a screwdriver.
Screwdriver would work too.
Well, I think the bullet is still in the wood.
Yep.
I'm not a weapons specialist, but at first sight, I'd say that this bullet looks exactly the same as the one Dr. Gebhard gave me for Legrand. That would mean that the murderer also fired a shot here in the cargo hold before the murder. But why? Did they just want to make sure the old guns still worked? Or was it something else? And did the bullet really come from the same gun?
That's why we have to go to Legrand's cabin. Okay. Alright. We are on the case! This chapter's... Oh.
That takes the biscuit.
I noticed that the door was unguarded. I just wanted to make sure that everything was all right.
Tell it to Legrand. He's expressly forbidden anyone to speak to the witness before he does.
All right. Let's go to Legrand and tell him what happened. You fell asleep and then you left the door unguarded. Well, are we going? Hmm?
No, but don't try it again.
Of course not.
The sarcasm! Why did the music get so loud? Why is the music so loud? That was funny. I like Zelda. Ooh, we kept it. Sweet. Swiss man is very funny. He is funny. I wonder if it's because he's supposed to be like that.
The lock isn't
the older
especially
gentleman.
secure. I should be able to open it with the wire from the cargo hold.
He's also a like a policeman in his own right, so he's probably dealt with all kinds of people. Oh, I see what I need to do. Pull it back out. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this. Oh, it's manual. Ugh. Oh, I didn't have the whole thing out. Okay, not enough. So close. Ah, pull it a little bit more. It's being very finicky with me. Okay, that one. This one needs to go out just a tidbit. Okay. Oh boy. Not high enough. Go a little bit higher. Higher. There we go. Okay. Okay. I've got them all except the last pin. And I missed. There we go. Hey!
There we go.
Okay.
A lock master and son. Tough to crack. If I wanted to steal the eye, I'd concentrate on getting the 3 keys.
Master of unlocking. I don't know about that.
Neatly folded and unused. Legrand hasn't slept since we cast off, nor on the train. Legrand must have taken and developed the photos himself. He even made copies and enlargements. He seems to be prepared for everything, with access to more resources than a normal detective. Smells like chemicals. Legrand probably developed the photos in here. There are still fragments of the syringe that the Why is he pushing himself like this? Even if he catches the Raven, is it worth ruining his career and his health? Another alarm. It was tripped at some point, but there's no way to determine when. A microscope. Looks like the one that Lutz Reichinger uses in his pharmacy, just more modern. There's nothing on the slide, and therefore nothing to see. First, I have to put something under the microscope. I can't put the pillowcase under the microscope, but I don't need to. The burn marks are visible to the naked eye.
Okay, the bonnet.
Okay. I need the second bullet for a comparison.
Where did Legrand put it?
Aha.
Oh, it's right there.
That's the bullet the doctor removed from the Baroness's corpse. Legrand's file on the Raven. Centimeters thick, but totally useless. We're not dealing with the Raven. Why can't he see that? Our man is ruthless, a bomber, and quite probably a murderer. This is the pipe from the cargo hold. Legrand seems to have inspected it for fingerprints. I can still make out the powder. There's nothing written on the bottle. I suppose it's some sort of stimulant, legal or not. Legrand has been awake for at least 30 hours straight, maybe more.
Oh gosh, the man needs to sleep. else?
No. Nothing to see on the end of the pipe that the attacker held. Either he wore gloves or he cleaned the pipe. This file belongs in a museum. It's history. The inspector should concentrate on the present. I shudder to think what kind of side effects this stuff might have. A policeman on a murder investigation should have his wits about him. The risk that he could miss evidence or endanger himself and others is too high.
Obviously. He's got a plate here. Actually, you know, now that you said that, he probably hasn't.
A masterpiece. Forensic teams use kits like these. They're placing increasing importance on the preservation of evidence. But not in Switzerland yet. It's a small lab used to conduct simple analysis on site. All right, what have we got here?
Oh, geez.
What's this? Oh, how practical. A hermetically sealed cotton swab for collecting samples. I'll take it.
Ah, there we go. That's the thing we needed. Do we need anything else?
Fingerprints are overrated. Smart thieves wear gloves, or they make sure that there are too many fingerprints at the crime scene to check them all. I'm sure Legrand could work magic in this alchemist lab. Me, I'm just awestruck.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I don't think Legrand did at all.
Good lord. Half of the tools in this box would be interesting for an archaeologist as well. Actually, forensics and archaeology are really quite similar to each other. The goal is to find out what happened, whether a few hours ago or a few centuries ago. Aha! This is some kind of inventory list. For each chemical, it lists the chemical composition and a short comment on how to use it. And here's a list of the most important procedures. Fingerprints, gunshot residue, blood. I don't have to analyze the pillow and feathers to determine whether there's gunshot residue. I can smell it. And I don't have any other clues at the moment.
So we got a cotton swab for the weird red stain on the bed. Can I leave, please? Did we keep the wire? I'm wondering if we kept the wire. This chapter's a lot longer than the first one. So I guess if I'm thinking about it, the train is more of an introductory to get to know some of the some of the characters.
I always wanted to do that.
Well, now you get to do it.
That should be enough.
Okay, back to Legrand. Or his cabin. Okay, so we got the mysterious red substance on the bed. We should be able to figure out what it is now. I personally don't think it's blood. It's probably wine or something. That would be my guess.
Wasn't there something about blood samples? Fingerprints, gunshot residue, blood. Well, It explains how to confirm that something is blood. That's a start. You have to mix luminol and a hydrogen peroxide solution and then drip or spray the mixture on the blood. The solution turns blue and glows even if there's just a very small amount of blood. Okay then, luminol and hydrogen peroxide.
Okay, or luminol.
Aha! Luminol. And there's the hydrogen peroxide. I'll mix it with the luminol in the bowl. Okay. I can detect blood with this mixture. The clear solution turns blue if it comes into contact with blood. I think it's better to drip the solution on the swab instead of dipping the swab into the solution. Maybe oxygen is an issue, or it doesn't work if you use too much of the solution.
Okay.
Okay, I'm filling the pipette and putting it down very carefully.
I love that. Pipette.
So, let's see what we have here. No blood. Not the slightest reaction. If I didn't make a mistake, and it wasn't that difficult, then the spot on the Baroness's bed isn't really blood. But if it isn't blood, what is it? And more importantly, why didn't Dr. Gebhardt notice anything? He was supposed to have examined everything. I'd say it's time to visit the medical center.
Stuff's not adding up. Oh, wait. Ah! I can't cancel once he starts going somewhere. Oh, back downstairs, please. Do I have to do this again?
It seems impossible that Dr. Gebhardt could have shot the Baroness. He was with me when the gunshot ran out. But he must have noticed that the Baroness was lying in a pool of fake blood. Maybe he's covering for someone. Let's find out.
Oh, he does it automatically. Okay. Oh. Okay.
I guess the trash bin is in here. Right. Paper towels, plastic packaging, cartons, and... Hold on. What's this? A burst rubber glove. It's knotted, and there's a red liquid all over the inside that looks like blood. I bet
know.
good money that it's the same fake blood I found in the Baroness's cabin.
Oh, we didn't bring the pipette with us.
Dr. Gebhardt will have trouble explaining how rubber gloves full of fake blood got into his trash bin. First, the fake blood he missed in the Baroness's cabin, and now this. It doesn't look good for you, Doctor. Interesting. A tape on a reel. The reel belongs to a much better player, like the one from the Baroness's cabin. I can't be certain that this is the reel that was missing from the Baroness's cabin, but it seems quite likely. A tape recorder from Sibling. Interesting.
Oh.
The reel in the Baroness's cabin is from the same company. A microphone was plugged into the tape recorder. Maybe Dr. Gebhardt records the results of his examinations and writes them down later. The player is rather basic. Simple, sturdy, practical. Okay. Nothing. Strange. There.
Oh, that scared me.
Very interesting.
It's a recorded gunshot.
A shot is audible on the tape, and the reel comes from the Baroness's cabin. It's all coming into focus. The sink looks like it's been cleaned recently. I can't say whether it was cleaned to comply with the hygiene regulations or whether there was another reason. It's probably for emergencies, in case a passenger falls down and can't walk anymore. Possibly due to rough seas, or maybe the captain's well-stocked bar.
Making sure we didn't miss anything in here. Oh.
That's proof enough for me that the doctor is involved in this. I should report to Legrand. Time to pay Legrand a visit.
Spooky spook.
No.
Oh no.
No, don't.
What? Oh. Oh, that's just chapter 1. That's chapter 1. That was chapter 1. Oh. So I think it starts. No. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Hold on. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Okay. So that's chapter 1. There's 3 chapters. So basically I would have to, let's go back to my menu. Yes. Back to my menu. That was supposed to happen. But basically, yeah, see, now we can go on to chapter 2. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave it for next week. Figure out what happened with Constable Zellner. That explains why it was longer. Because the first part was super short, and the second part was a lot longer. No, it does not. No, it does not. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, because when I first played this, I didn't even get to that part, so that was new for me. I'm excited though, but yeah, we'll definitely have to continue this next Friday, and see where this goes with Chapter 2. Play all of Chapter 2. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. That was good. It was good. It was good. Murder mystery. I love murder mysteries. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Thank you guys